What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. Tottenham are into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup, whatever you want to call it. And the draw was made last night, and we play Brentford at home in the semi-finals, with the other semi-final being a Manchester derby. Was it at Old Trafford or the Etihad? I can't remember.
I think it's at Old Trafford.
At Old Trafford. So my prediction is Spurs-Manchester United final. I'm not sure about you, but I don't want to tempt fate, so maybe we shouldn't talk.
It's actually not far away, this semi-final.
Yeah, it's next week, isn't it?
Next week. The week commencing the 4th of January. And,
yeah, the fixture actually got decided for Tuesday, the 5th of January. So we're the first semi-final, and Manchester United, the Manchester derby, will be the second semi-final.
It's in 2 weeks' time.
Right.
Well, less, because we're on Thursday already. So it's about 12 days' time. So it's coming up thick and fast. And obviously the finals in April. Look, it's a very good draw for us. I think it'll be good for us to get into a final if we can do it. Obviously, Brentford, you can't underestimate them, because every round they've beaten a Premier League team. So they're used to playing Premier League teams at this point.
Who have they beaten? I know they've beaten Newcastle in the last round. Who else they beat?
They beat Southampton, I believe. I'm not sure who else they beat. Brett, I'm not sure, but I know they beat Southampton and they beat Newcastle. So look, they're not to be. You can't discount them. You can't discount them, because they've been playing very well for a while now in the Championship. Mourinho said himself after the game that the way Brentford play, they're like a Premier League side, not a Championship side. So I think you got to take them seriously. And although obviously it makes us heavy favourites, also it makes us expected to win. So look, we have to go in there with obviously confidence, but it's going to be a difficult game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's going to be a difficult game. Any semi-final is going to be a difficult game. Let's be honest.
Fulham from Southampton they've beaten, and Newcastle.
So you look, at the end of the day, you've got to be absolutely delighted with the draw. I know I was saying last night I wanted Man City, but as soon as Brentford got pulled out the draw, I was very, very happy with it. But I wouldn't have taken anyone anyway. But look, let's get into the player ratings. It was a good game last night. I thought there were some good performances there on the pitch.
There certainly were.
Yeah, and let's get into it. Sim looking very smug there. But look, let's start off with Hugo Lloris, and we gave him a 6. He literally had nothing to do the whole game.
Yeah, some people are blaming him for the goal, not blaming him or saying he could have done better. I mean, looking at it, maybe, I think it's harsh to say he could have. I think it's a good finish by the player who's coming in at the back post, and it's very close range as well. I think he possibly could have covered his front post a bit more, but other than that, I think it's harsh to blame him for anything, really. And yeah, as you say, he literally didn't have a touch apart from that.
Yeah. Let's move on to Matt Doherty. We gave him a 6. I thought it was a bit up and down from Matt Doherty. I thought he started actually quite brightly, creating some chances. But I just want to talk about his mistake for the goal, because I genuinely thought it was schoolboy defending. The way he gets attracted to the ball, starts chasing the ball, and lets the attacker in behind him was pretty schoolboy. But apart from the mistake for the goal, I thought it was one of his better performances, but still not great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was decent. I thought he was defensively, he was very good in the air again, winning a lot of headers. I think going forward, he had a few nice link-up moments with Bale and a few with the attack as well. I thought he was decent. Nothing special, nothing that, Aurier's done a lot better going forward than anything what Doherty did yesterday. And obviously, for the goal was really poor, and he should be doing better than that as an experienced defender. So look, it's another game where you say you don't come away with it saying, I'm so happy we signed Matt Doherty. But look, I don't know. That's just where we are at the moment. I think Aurier's ahead of him. Even with his mistakes, Aurier's ahead of him. That's how I feel. And I think Doherty has still got a long way to go to convince me at the moment.
I do feel like he was linking up nicely with Bale in that first half, though.
Yeah, he was, but there's just, I don't know, there's things about him which make me think that he's not the perfect right back for us at this time, just because I feel like he's not that quick. So when he gets forward, he takes a long time to get back, and that's why he plays. That's why he's very good in the back three, because he doesn't need to be so quick to get back. Whereas for us, he does, and then he's not going to have the attacking output he had for Wolves for us. He's just not, because that's not his role.
In terms of his mistake for the goal, though, I know I say it was schoolboy defending, but he wasn't the only one at fault for that goal. Let's be
No.
honest. I know on the watch along, I kind of put all the blame on him, but seeing as watching it back, there were a lot of players out of position in that for that goal, which moves us on to Ben Davies. We gave him a 7. He was also one that was out of position for the goal. I thought it was a steady performance as always from Ben Davies. Nice, calm, composed, defended well apart from being out of position. But you got to talk about that goal. What a goal! What a finish from Ben Davies. And just want to see him do that more.
Yeah, he actually doesn't have a terrible shot on him, Ben Davies, when he wants to. He can have a crack occasionally, and it was a really, really great finish across the keeper from 25 yards out. Really low finish, really good goal from Ben Davies, and done really well there. I thought throughout the game he was pretty steady, as you say. It wasn't nothing spectacular. Back and forward, he didn't have anything to do going back, but going the other way. Didn't do anything particularly great, but was also just helping knitting the team together, knitting everything together, getting the ball to the attackers and everything. That was his main role. He wasn't really getting crosses in or getting in the final third properly much yesterday. So just did his job, I think.
Let's move on to Eric Dier. We gave him a 6. Another one who was out of position for the goal. I thought actually he was probably the most out of position out of everyone. You had different players like Sanchez and maybe Davies. I can't remember right this second, but they were trying to cover the holes left by other players. And Eric Dier was the one that they were trying to cover as he was really out of position for the goal. But I thought he was strong late in the game when we were trying to close out the game. And I think he did well.
Out of position, potentially, but there was only one player in the box, and that wasn't Dier's man. So I'm not sure how much blame he can have for that, because there's a ball played through by Fletcher to the right back, which Davies pushed up. So he gets in behind Davies and he plays the ball across the face of the goal to the one player who's in the box, which is Doherty.
Yeah, but you got to look at Dier and see where he is. He's in complete no man's land, and Sanchez has to come over and cover for Dier, and then Doherty has to come over and cover for Sanchez.
I see. Fair enough. But who's Sanchez marking? Was anyone there?
I can't remember the names of the player. If you watch it back, you'll see it. But I'm telling you, Eric Dier was widely out of position. And then, like I said, Sanchez has to come over, and then Doherty had to come over.
Yeah, so that doesn't bode well. But look, I thought Dier, he didn't have much to do, did he? I didn't have much to do. I thought when he was on the ball, he was all right. He was coming forward into midfield really well, like he was at the end of the Leicester game. But nothing much, nothing special. Look, Stoke really were not a threat. They shouldn't have scored at all yesterday. Let's be honest. It's it's really poor from our back four that we let them score at all. But look, he didn't have anything to do. So simple game for Dier.
Yeah, let's move on to Davinson Sanchez. We gave him a 6 as well. I thought it was a competent display from Davinson. He had nothing much to do, especially in that first 45 minutes. Like I mentioned, for Dier, he was there covering Dier for the goal, which led to a few players being out of position. But apart from that, he would be happy to have 90 minutes as well. So I think it was all right display from Davinson. Didn't have much to do defensively.
Yeah, no mistakes. That's the main thing for him at the moment. Obviously, he's not really got the trust of Jose in Premier League terms at the moment, so that's not great for him. I don't think yesterday would have done that much in favour of getting Sanchez more minutes in the Premier League, because it was such an easy ride. They didn't really learn much from yesterday. Look, he couldn't have done much more than he did. He pretty much kept everything out and he did all right. But with Joe Rodon cup tied, I just see Joe Rodon coming back in at the moment, because
Joe Rodon, that's it for him now. He's not ineligible for any game now, so you'll probably
even
see
in the
him
next round of the cup.
In the Carabao Cup, yeah, but he come back in the Europa League now.
Yeah, which that's good for him. I want to see more of Joe Rodon, because we've only seen him start one game, and I was away at Chelsea and he kept a clean sheet, so that leaves you wanting more a bit. But I think Sanchez, I can't really. Look, we'll see. We'll see if he leaves in January what the steps are ahead. But I don't think this performance is going to be convincing Mourinho of anything just yet. I think it was just average. But in this game, I feel bad for him, because there's not much he could have done to convince Mourinho that he's ready for more minutes, because it was such an easy ride in terms of the striking department.
I mean, that's the problem with these games, with the group stages of the Europa League, playing the lower league teams in the cups. You can't really get a good judge of how well you're doing.
Yeah, but it's different for a forward player or a midfield player in these scenarios, because they can always, like, for example, if you're a striker looking to impress, you can get a hat trick or something, and that impresses. Even if it's a lower league team, that's impressive. But if you're a defender and you're playing a lower league team and you really want to impress, but you're expected to keep a clean sheet. If you keep that clean sheet, it doesn't really prove anything, does it? It's just what was expected.
Yeah. Moving on to Harry Winks. So we gave him an 8, man in the match display, and well deservedly so. The thing that impressed me the most is how often he was playing forward passes and how often he was playing those really, really lovely over the top passes and through balls into Harry Kane, into the strikers. Obviously, the first one was for Gareth Bale's goal. Lovely, lovely assist. Gareth Bale did really well to get the header in. And there was another one in there for Dele Alli as well, which Dele probably should have done better with. But all in all, apart from those 2 balls, I think there was time and time again, he was looking forward. He was trying to make stuff happen. And this is the performances that we want to see from Harry Winks. I personally kind of put him down a lot for not playing those forward passes often enough, playing sideways, backwards, not influencing a game that we know how he can do. And yesterday was a perfect example of what he can do. And I was really happy with him yesterday.
Yeah, I thought he put in a really strong performance, and I was really happy with him. He really made a big influence on the game. It wasn't just the fact he was playing forward; it was the accuracy of those passes as well. Really on point a lot of the time, putting in dangerous areas. It was really quick ones, setting us up on attacks as well. I remember there was one time he intercepted the ball and very quickly passes it out wide to Kane and sets us up on a counter attack very quickly. So he was industrious. He was sharp. He really looked to take his opportunity, and I really felt he did yesterday, which was I'm really happy. I'm really happy he did that, and I think we really need a passer like him in our team. I really believe that, because as much as Hojbjerg and Sissoko can protect our back four as well as they can, when we come up against a team like Leicester, like we did on Sunday, we needed a player like Winks in the team to move the ball quicker and make sure that we're sustaining attacks and building attacks through the lines. Otherwise, we're just going to be on a hiding to nothing against teams who sit back against us. Because I don't believe Hojbjerg and Sissoko really have that ability to break down or help or as good an ability to break down defenses.
I think you're being a bit harsh on Hojbjerg though.
I'm saying to them together as a 2.
Oh, together, right? Yeah.
As in Hojbjerg is a good passer, but I think Sissoko's like very limited. Like
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So if you got 2 passes in there, all of a sudden it opens up a few more options. And if Winks as well, let's not forget yesterday, not only was his passing good, he made 10 recoveries. He made a few tackles as well. He was quite industrious defensively. And I know this opposition wasn't the best, 7th in the championship and whatnot. He's going to come up against a lot tougher opposition than he did yesterday, no doubt about it. But it was definitely a big step in the right direction. And he couldn't have done more than what he did yesterday. And I'm very happy about that. And hopefully we get him.
He could have got a goal.
He could have got a goal, I guess. But he got a nice assist. And I thought throughout the game he was playing some really good passes, and his passing was really of a high standard yesterday, which is what we want to see from him. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I echo all your thoughts, what you're saying, but with the passing he showed on yesterday, with the accuracy, like you said, the absolute perfect balls he was playing into Dele Alli, to Harry Kane. Was it to Heung Min Son as well? Was it his ball to Heung Min Son?
I think Kane played that. I think
Kane played that. All right. But anyway, what I'm saying is, with all those great balls, the Gareth Bale one as well, to only be his 3rd assist in our colours is actually a joke, to be honest, with that kind of passing range.
Yeah, he should be. I agree. We definitely should be looking to contribute more in the final third than he already is. I think he has the quality to, do those like dinks to the back post and stuff where defenders are running in, or a little through ball here and there. He hasn't done that enough for us. I would stress that's not his main role to be getting goals and assists. So like, it doesn't bother me too much that he's a bit low on those. But I agree with you. It should be more than 3. It definitely should be more than 3.
All right, let's move on to Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. We gave him a 7. La General. That's all
La
I can say
General.
about his performance. It's the same week in, week out from the General. It's pretty much we pretty much take his performances for granted now because it's same week in, week out. If he was to get a long injury or an injury, I don't know what we would do seriously because he is so important to the team. He just keeps things ticking over. He makes things difficult for the opposition, and that's exactly what he did last night as well.
Proven by the fact that he even started yesterday, proving how important Mourinho believes he is to us and how important he is. He's Mr. Consistent. That's what he is. I did feel, to be honest, in the past 2 games that he wasn't as good as he had been against Liverpool and against Leicester. But
Still
I thought
doing a very important job, though.
Yeah, of course. But I just felt like he had better games than he had before. But I felt like against Stoke, he was absolutely fantastic again. And I really, not fantastic. It was good. It was a really good performance, consistent again. I think his passing was setting up attacks again, which was really positive, forward passing. And look, he's just Mr. Consistent for us. He really is. He is every single game. He has a certain standard. He hardly ever drops below that standard. We know from his time at Southampton, he very, very rarely gets injured. So that's a really positive sign for us. If in fact that hopefully he should be starting a lot of games. And I'm just so happy that he's part of our team because he just gives us that consistency, leadership in the centre. Everything that we hoped he was going to give us, he's given us. Yeah. And he's proving it every game, which is really good.
Some would say he revolutionised our midfield.
Yeah, someone say exactly that they foresaw a revolution in midfield. But yeah, look, Hojbjerg is great.
Yeah, let's move on to Dele Alli. We gave him a 6. To be fair, in the first half, I would say much better from Dele Alli. I think he kind of picked up where he left off the last couple of games he's played, but I thought this first half performance was a step up to the last couple of games. He was in and amongst everything good for us going forward. Some nice tricks, some nice flicks, like I said, getting in and amongst it. Should have got a goal. There were 2 chances in there. The first chance, he probably should have dinked it over the keeper instead of going lower in the far corner because it was a good save from the keeper. But if he would have dinked it over the keeper, probably would be talking about a Dele Alli goal. And then there was another chance just before the half as well where he a shot from just outside the area. So, I mean, it's good news that you see Dele there taking shots off, trying things. So I was really happy with his first half performance. And if he put that performance in the second half, you're probably talking about a 7 or an 8 out of 10. And maybe you're talking about him as man of the match as well. But I felt that in the second half, he drifted big time. He gave the ball away for their goal. And then he got hooked pretty much on around 65th minute mark.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about man of the match because he actually got given the man of the match on the Spurs official Twitter account because they do the poll. Who was man of the match? Dele Alli actually won that, which was interesting.
Not right, no, I don't think that's right.
But in terms of his performance, I just feel bad for him because I really did feel like in the first half he was really trying to make things happen. He was really trying to get more involved and to be creative. I really believe he was one of our best players in that first half. He was not only was he sharp in and around the box, winning fouls, being a nuisance for the Stoke back line. And I thought his movement was really strong. He was getting in really dangerous positions, getting goal-scoring positions, nearly getting a couple of goals. As you said before, a couple of finishes which were a bit unlucky. Could have dinked the first one and the one from outside the box. I thought, I thought it was a really good first half performance, and he came out for the second half a bit more sluggish, unfortunately. And there was one moment which really irks Jose Mourinho, which was in the lead up to the goal, It was an interesting debate whether Dele can be blamed for it or not. But obviously his first time flick when we were on a counter attack broke the move down. The ball went back to the Stoke
stupid
keeper.
flick, though, wasn't it?
Have you seen it back? I've seen it back, and I remember at the time. If you watch the watch along,
I remember.
I'm like, Dele, what are you doing? It was so stupid. And then obviously Stoke went up the other end and scored. And it was a really frustrating flick. It was more frustrating for a couple of reasons. One, because it was in our own half. And there was no need for it. 2, because he wasn't under pressure, so it wasn't like he had to flick away to get away from a man. He just flicked when he wasn't under pressure, when he could have taken a touch. So there was no need for it. And 3, we were on a really promising counter-attack. So if he just takes a touch and drives the ball forward, then we're in a really good position. But because he does the flick, he loses possession. It costs us a possible counter, which is what Mourinho was saying. On the flip side of that, to completely blame Dele for the goal is a bit harsh, because it did end up going all the way back to the keeper, who had to lump it forward, and then a few things happened to result in the goal. So I think it's a bit harsh to lay a lot of the blame on Dele. But on the flip side of that, we had pushed everyone up on that occasion, which is why the fullbacks were so far forward, which is why Doherty and Davies were scrambling to get back in position, because they were so far forward. So look, there are a few, it's a bit nuanced to what people are saying on social media and stuff. But for Mourinho to be calling him out after the game, I know he's done it before with Ndombele and stuff, and it's worked. But
I think
I
it's
don't
a
know.
different case, though. It's a different case to that, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working with Dele, because he seems to be getting pissed off at it and frustrated. And I can understand that, because I feel like he's been very patient in it. And, Mourinho keeps saying how hard he's working in training and everything to try and get back in the team. And I feel like he's at the moment, he's not getting a lot of minutes. When he is getting minutes, he's trying his best to kind of impress. In the Europa League, he's done a few nice things, winning a few penalties and scoring a penalty and whatnot. And he's done a few nice things. Not been exceptional, but he's done okay in the minutes he's had. It's not like he's been bad. And then he's got a big chance yesterday in a quarterfinal to really, especially with Lo Celso now, which we're hearing is going to be out until, at least he's going to be out for the New Year fixtures, they're saying. So at least a couple of weeks, Lo Celso's out. So a real big opportunity for Dele to get back in the team and back in the squad at least. And I really felt like he was taking that opportunity in the first half. But the fact is, and he's gone off after the hour again, it ended a bit sourly, makes me think that Mourinho doesn't feel like he's taken his opportunity. And that'll be all the more frustrating for Dele, who would have felt like he had a good game and he's being treated harshly. But then Mourinho would say, you can't be costing the team like that. So I kind of understand both sides, but I just feel it's a bit harsh on Dele, in my opinion.
Yeah, and with the news about Poch going to PSG today, I mean, that transfer's looking ever more likely now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
As well as Eriksen probably going to end up at PSG as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised, to be honest. And all good. Look, I hope they go there and I hope they smash it out. I really do. I really do. Not specifically Dele, but I hope Eriksen gets a move, and I hope he does really well at PSG, because I just hope they get trophies and whatever they get, because I'm still big fans of them, even though people may like to make fun of them. I'm still a big fan of Eriksen.
All right, let's move on to Lucas Moura. We gave him a 6. He didn't have too much of an influence on the game. I think he had a few nice runs in the first half, ended up getting subbed off with around 20 minutes to go. I felt that, was it him? I think it was him, that he should have potentially had a penalty as well.
It wasn't a penalty, but he went down in the box.
Oh, so there you go. I wasn't too impressed with Lucas yesterday, to be fair.
He did a few nice things on the left. I feel like him on the left isn't a great situation, because, I feel like his left foot, although he scored a hat-trick on his left foot for an Ajax, I don't think he trusts his left foot that much. So like he tends not to go on the outside and cross it with his left as much. So we restrict him to cutting inside. And he's not the kind of player who likes to cut inside and curl it into the far corner. That's just not Lucas Moura's game. So I feel like him on the left-hand side doesn't quite work that much. Wasn't that impressed with it. But when he did get on the ball, he was still being a decent part of the attack, and he wasn't, things didn't break down or anything when he was on the ball. So that was all right. But it wasn't, he got hooked off same time as Dele, because I felt like they were both in the second half anyway, pretty anonymous.
Let's move on to Gareth Bale. We gave him a 6. Firstly, the goal. Lovely header from Gareth Bale. Really was. You were saying during the watch long, it made the ball look even better with the header he gave. And I think that was spot on, because it really was a top draw header. Keep catching the keeper out. He had no chance, really.
Underrated, that header. People aren't talking about it enough, I think. That's a really clever finish. And to head it from that distance as well on the flick is really hard to do.
hmm But apart from the goal, I think he contributed a few nice bits, linking up with Doherty fairly well. But I still, like we say with Gareth Bale, every time we see him play, we need to see him influence the game more. I do feel like you've said on a few occasions that he's more suited to the centre than he is to the right wing now. And you know that goal that he scored, he was in the centre, so that proves your point. But in terms of Gareth Bale, still want to call on him to do more in the game, but happy with his first half performance. Got taken off at half time, but that was due to injury, not due to form.
Yeah, Bell himself apparently withdrawing himself because he didn't want to go off in the. He said he felt it in the first half, but he didn't want to take himself off before the break. And then obviously once he went in at half time, he said, "Look, I'm feeling this. I should probably come off," which is a bit of a shame. Again, more injuries plaguing Bell. I thought in actually watching back the highlights in the first half, I think he did a few more things than maybe we gave him credit for in that first half. He obviously did that incredible crossfield pass to Lucas, which set up the Dele chance, which was really impressive. And then obviously the goal he scored, which was I think gone under the radar. How impressive that finish was to get it in the corner, direct into the corner from that kind of distance with that kind of pace on it is an extremely difficult skill. And most of the time that won't come off. And he pulled it off really well yesterday. But having said that, I thought a few times he was in good positions, putting a pass on and stuff, and it was just his passing was a bit off and sloppy, and he could have done a lot better. And he just again didn't look so sharp on the wing again. But I thought though again a few nice things from Bale, a few moments of quality, and obviously a moment of quality that scored the goal, which was really good. So look, it wasn't prime Bale, but at least he showed he still has a lot of quality in him. So I personally would rather see him in the central area right at the moment, try and influencing games in and around the penalty area and get finishes off, because I believe at the moment his best quality might be his finishing as opposed to dribbling or pace or anything like that. So I think if we get him in the central areas, that might be a really good option for us. And if you remember rightly anyway, at the back end of his Spurs career, that's where he predominantly was playing, wasn't it? In his last season, he was playing in the central areas with Adebayor up top. So we know he can play that role, and he was quite good at that role. Since obviously he went to Madrid, he was playing on the right. But at Spurs, in his last season, he was playing pretty much the whole season down the centre, and that was his best role. So I would like to see a bit more of that. But look, I think he still provides a good option for the squad for me personally. But we'll see about this injury.
Yeah. Let's move on to Harry Kane. Gave him a 7. I thought there was some really nice link-up play there from Kane. Could have got a couple goals. He got one goal right at the end to seal off the game with a lovely, lovely finish into the roof of the net. But apart from that, yeah, just some nice link-up play, and probably could have got a couple more goals or one more goal at least.
Yeah. Good performance, good finish for the third. Really well put to bed, high into the net, giving the keeper no chance. He also obviously got that. He played a through ball for Son, who scored, but was wrongly ruled out for offside. I think I can confirm that now. And I think, but look, it was a good display from him. He wasn't as involved as he maybe would have liked to have been in a game against Stoke, but yeah, maybe I felt like he didn't really come out first gear, Kane, yesterday, and he didn't really need to. I thought it was an easy game for him. He was dropping deep again out, but he ends up getting the goal, and I thought it was a solid game.
Yeah. And that's the last of the starting 11. Let's go on to the substitutes. You got Heung Min Son, who came on at half time for Gareth Bale. We gave him a 6. I've seen it 1,000 times now, and I still genuinely think it was really onside. I think his goal was onside. I can't see any argument against it, because when I saw it live, I thought it was miles on, and now I've seen it 5-6 times. I still think it's on. So I think that's a bad call from the linesman. Apart from that, I think that he was pretty quiet in that second half. Not many chances for him, but he kept running and kept giving his all for the team. And well done, Heung Min Son. But should have been a goal.
I think it should have been a goal, and I probably was offside. The reason why I was when I was looking at in real time, I was a bit undecided whether it was on or off, because I'm so adept for these VAR calls that even when it looks on, when they draw the lines, it can look off if a player's leaning forward, and Son is leaning forward there, and whether his right shoulder is ahead, wasn't 100% sure. I think it looks like he's onside, but on Sunday, right, we looked at the Maddison one, and instantly we're like, yeah, he's on. Like he's a million miles on. And then they draw the lines, and all of a sudden he's off. So it's hard.
But the thing is, I took the picture of the freeze frame. You've got Son leaning forward, but you've also got a Stoke player in the near side of the screen also leaning forward as well. So Son wasn't the only one.
Okay. So look, yeah, it looks like he was definitely onside, to be fair, and it should have been a goal. It was a bad call, but look, end of the day, we end up winning, so it's not the end of the world. But look, Son, apart from that, probably wasn't that involved in the game, to be honest. I don't remember too many things he did. He just came on and complemented the attack. And obviously, when you have Kane and Son on the pitch, it's always going to open up spaces, and it's always going to trouble the back, give the back line something to think about. I'm not sure why he played 45 minutes, and maybe. Oh, I guess, do we have any other winger on the bench apart from him?
Lamela came on late, didn't he?
Yeah, Lamela came on after. So look, is what it is. I don't think he did too much, but he didn't need to.
All right, Moussa Sissoko, we gave him a 6. Thought he did well when he came on. He came on when we were looking for a winner at 1-1, and he actually got the assist for Kane's goal, didn't he, with a lovely ball. Apart from that, I thought he was being kind of aggressive on that right-hand side. He was on the right-hand side of a front three when he first came on, and I thought he did well. Maybe 6 is a bit harsh. Maybe he should have got 7.
No, I think 6 is fine. I think he did okay.
Now, when does Moussa Sissoko ever get an assist?
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of his assist away at Dortmund a few years ago in the Champions League run. He plays it through to Kane. It's very similar, and Kane finishes it. I thought it was look, he did all right. He did well. Sissoko coming on that right-hand side. I think he helped the team off the ball, win the ball back quicker, and he was aggressive. And I think going forward again, still, I know he got an assist, but there is a definite lack of quality there. There's no doubt about it. But I think, look, no, I can't be too harsh on him. I thought he played well when he came on, Sissoko. It was very odd for him to come on at 1-1 when we needed a goal, but I think it kind of worked in a weird way.
Yeah. I agree with you. Let's move on to Erik Lamela, the last of the playing staff. He gave him a 7. It was so good to see him back. It really was. He came on and it looked like he'd never left, shithousing the Stoke players, making himself a nuisance, pressing high up the pitch. And he got in a little argy-bargy with Nick Powell as well. But look, apart from that, I thought he showed a tiny bit of quality as well. Maybe he wasn't on long enough to kind of stamp his authority in the game, but his sheer presence on the pitch is just so important for us, I believe.
Yeah, he was really good when he came on. Really made a difference. Really made an impact on the team. Drove us forward, gave us a bit more energy and enthusiasm in the final third when pressing opponents and stuff like that. Really get asked a lot of questions of the Stoke team, and as you say, he just adds a little bit of spice and shithousery to the game as well, which is always helpful, especially in the Mourinho team. And I think he did a really good job yesterday, and it was really, as you say, it was really good to see him back. And also, it's perfectly timed now that we're hearing about Lo Celso not going to be out. He's going to be out for at least a week or two. So it's perfectly timed for Lamela to come back in the squad and provide another option there. And again, he came on and played in the centre, which is where Mourinho has tended to like him more. He can play on the right, but he's tended to like him more down the centre usually. So he's come in that position. And he gives us another option for the squad, which is really, really good, which is needed, especially in this period where we're having a lot of games and we're going to need a lot of rotation. Lamela is one of those players who has stepped up this season when he's played. So it's important that we have him back.
Yeah. And finally, Jose Mourinho, we gave him a 7. I thought he managed the game well. First half, pretty much Stoke were nowhere in the game. We should have been more than 1 goal up, but you can't put that down to Jose Mourinho. But the way he set us up really did. We were in complete control of the game that first half. Second half, I don't think Jose's to blame for anything that went wrong in that second half. But it only went wrong for about five minutes when Stoke equalised, and then we went back up, got the second and got the third. I thought the changes he made helped the team as well. So good display from Jose too.
Yeah, I think he picked a right balance between players he can trust and players who needed to prove themselves, and I think it worked for the team. I feel like in Europa League games when he's completely changed the team, when they're there's a lack of and I feel like it's harder for the players like Winks and Dele to really impress in those games when they're not playing with when they're playing with players that apparently Mourinho doesn't trust as much. And you can see yesterday when they are in and amongst it with Kane and Hojbjerg, they stepped up a level a bit and they really performed. So yeah, I think he deserves credit for that. I think obviously he changed the game at 1-1. When in our toughest period of the game, although I don't think we were ever really in fear of going out, but it was definitely in danger of maybe going to penalties or something. And he changed it positively, and it obviously ended up changing the game and winning. And I think he did a decent job. What I would say is maybe cool it on the Dele criticism and how upset you are with him, I would say. But if he really is trying to send Dele a message and he feels like he's not getting it, then I can understand it. But I just felt like on the back of the performance yesterday, he didn't need to go public with that. Because the difference between that and Ndombele is Ndombele, wasn't running at all, was he, in that Burnley game and stuff like that? Whereas Dele, I can think you can really see he's trying to do something, but I can understand that one moment in the second half really pissed him off, and it really pissed me off as well, to be honest. It was so unnecessary.
But I think he just needs to calm down a little bit. Calm down a little bit, Jose. Yeah, I thought it was harsh, yeah.
Yeah, but Mourinho always has a reason for why he does things, so we have to. I don't really know everything, but I felt like it was a bit harsh on Dele. But I think he's managing in general the squad really well, and I think he managed the team well yesterday, and hopefully in the Premier League we can get back to winning ways.
All right, that's it. So there you have it. That is our player ratings. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with our ratings. Let me know what your ratings are. We are going to Wembley. We are en route. We are in the semi-final against Brentford. This is Trophy Jose's forte now. This is where he earns his money in these games in the semi-final. And then obviously, if we can beat Brentford, we go to Wembley to face one of the Manchester clubs, Manchester United or Manchester City. Let me know your thoughts on the semi-final draw. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.